Okay, this is Brian, and you're going to hear from my co-host Chris Messina, of course, in a second. But I want to state this very clearly again. This is a unique special episode. 2 weeks ago, a longtime listener to this podcast reached out, wanted us to talk about their experience as a tech startup in Ukraine. We're going to hear about that startup right now, Lemon.io, hearing from the founder, Alexander Volodarsky. But the listener that got in touch to make this all happen was in a bunker because there was shelling at the time of this recording, so they couldn't participate in the recording. So yeah, and also check out the show notes for links given to us directly from Alexander. If you want to help the Ukrainian cause, these are the links and charities and nonprofits he suggests, including those who take crypto. Alexander Volodarsky, thanks for coming on the Techmeme Ride Home experience.
Pleasure to be here.
Just let's start by telling me about Lemon.io, which is the company you founded. How old is Lemon? What does Lemon do? Just give me a basic background on your company.
So, Lemonio is a marketplace of editing engineers. What we do is we connect companies who are looking for engineers and engineers who are looking for work. What we do is we test and vet. We test and interview developers from one side to make sure that they have the skills in place, the hard skills, and especially the soft skills. That is the lack of soft skills is usually the biggest problem of unsuccessful projects. Also, we do the same on the client side. So we make sure that those are projects that are developers looking for because they want to work with developers that we work with. They want to work with technical people, the companies who have designs in place and specs in place, and they just know how to work with developers directly. So we make sure that those are companies too, and then we match developers and companies based on the skills that they're looking for and the projects developers are looking for. This is what we do.
How many years have you been operating?
Yeah, we started this company 6 years ago, but it was a different business model. At the beginning, we started as it was just a side hustle. But when it developed to something that looked like a company, it was a kind of Uber for web development projects. So it was mostly small and medium-sized businesses, e-commerces, or small agencies coming to submit projects like that were in a range of 2 to 20 hours of work. Create a page, move a button, fix a bug. And we were doing this for a few years, and it didn't work out. We couldn't scale it. So when it was working well when we got people from referrals, but when we tried to do marketing, we actually couldn't scale it. It was operationally hard. And then almost exactly 2 years ago, we pivoted to Lemonio. Before the company name was Coding Ninjas. So we pivoted to a new business model where companies are looking not to do some projects. They're looking to place person in the role, and then they can manage them directly. And we rebranded to a current brand and renamed the company to Lemonio.
And how many roughly devs are on your platform over the last 6 months or so?
I don't know how many developers in general, but active developers that are on projects or looking for projects around, to be honest, I don't know, like several hundreds,
Sure.
Something around maybe 600. I don't keep up with that, but in general, developers that are on Butterbase, there's tens of thousands of developers, but we ping them from time to time, but we require some a specific level of skills to be able to work with our clients.
And how many employees?
We have now 47 employees.
47.
Yeah.
So one little detail that we've left out of this description so far is you were founded and based in Ukraine, correct? Yeah. So we're recording this March 24th. Today, as I speak to you, what is the operational situation for Lemon.io?
I mean, it's so until a week ago, we had to kill most of our operations in the company just to be able to keep the essential operations alive, because from the beginning of the war, most of the developers became unavailable. Not developers, I'm sorry, employees were unavailable. There are a few people who were mobilized. There are, a lot of people who had to relocate. And just first 2 weeks, we and us also, but also our employees had to be busy with their stuff. So what we did is we creating new features or customer development. All this went away, and we just had to work with developers and work with customers. That's what we did until last week. Now we're a little bit coming back because most of employees were able to relocate, find safe places, and are able to manage to working space for themselves. Again, like I don't think they have any working space. They have just those people mostly went to their relatives or friends and live there. They gave him one room to be there. So that's what I mean by working space. I'm the same. I was able to evacuate my family to Israel, but we live at our friends. So they gave us 2 rooms. It's 6 of us, my parents, me and my wife, and 2 kids. So working space, I mean, like, are able to go online and be be available. But again, like most of people are not as productive as they were. And we don't expect them to be. But operations are coming back little by little right now.
I mean, it sounds, incredibly stressful, and I can only imagine, trying to get work done, trying to sort of think about, tasks and like Jira and bug fixes and all the rest when, literally like, whether there's bombs falling or, you're just trying to get your family together and your effects together. What has been your approach to, sorry, by the way, Brian, are you recording?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
What has been your approach to, coaching your staff and getting them ready for this? Like, as you mentioned, one of the things that Lemon focuses on are those soft skills. And so here you have a situation totally unprecedented that I certainly, as a former founder, never imagined that I would have to deal with. So what has been your approach, maybe even to prepare yourself or to think about this and then coach and work with your staff to help them through this process?
So we were trying to get ready, but we didn't know anything. Before the war started, 2 weeks before that, I think there was a lot of speculation in media about the possible invasion, and we sat down. We saw that people are stressful, and we said, okay, we have to prepare some kind of something.
What was your sense? Like, did you think it was going to happen? I mean, my understanding is that a lot of people just really didn't think that it was actually going to happen. People were in kind of either denial or just sort of like, oh, it would never happen. And, you guys had the experience in 2014 with Crimea. So, that's real and that happened. But, what was your sense for whether it would pick up again? Like, I guess, like, going into this, how much did you think you really would have to, like, deal with it?
So the war did start in 2014, not only in Crimea, but also on the eastern two eastern regions, Donbass and Lugansk. And we were in denial. Like, looking back, like if I was not in this kind of denial, I would probably be able to do something else and something more, something that will give us more results in terms of safety for police and the family and everyone. And we were in denial, even though like I was like, we did some rules, and did some, not coaching, but we did a few stuff that I'm going to talk about. I think it was a week or 2 weeks before the war started. But like in reality, it's, I don't know if I can tell it here, but it's like total crap. I mean, looking back, like only a few things were meaningful, but the rest was like, we didn't know. I was never at the war, right? I don't know like how it looks like. Because I'm gonna tell what we did. First of all, we gave 2 months salary advance for everyone who's in Ukraine, just because like if something happens, if there's full invasion, the banking system collapses, they cannot get cash. At this time, cash is the most important to move around, to get foods and everything. So we did that, and it was smart, and I'm really happy we did that. Even though there was no collapse of banking system, it became really hard to get cash. There were huge lines in the ATMs, and in most places the branches were closed. And then we said, okay, if you also what we did was smart. We made people sure that everyone who is mobilized, they will keep getting salary until the company is alive, and they will go fight the war and protect us, and they will keep their salaries, their work. They will come back to the same working roles and everything. Even though those people who want to volunteer, they will also get paid full salary, no question asked. If you have to take care of your family or relocate, or unless you're relocating to Russia, you're going to get the same salary, and no question asked about your decisions. But then we said, okay, if something happens and you feel unsafe, come to this city, to this location where one of our founders, and we will, help you find accommodations and, and so on. We'll help you over there. It's like on the it's a western city called Lviv. And, and also we said that if the connection goes down, there's no internet and no phones, you go to this connection and go to this location and we will help you. First of all, we were dumb thinking that people actually going to go to this location, because people have their own plans. Like, first of all, they have families all around Ukraine, and then go to another Western city. Second, a lot of people have families. Like one girl, her mom didn't want to move. They were in Kharkov. Kharkov is one of the cities that was hit the most, and she didn't feel safe to go from her apartment, so they stayed with her mom in the apartment. And we didn't even think that there would be a circumstance where people wouldn't want to leave with such kind of, Then they had a missile hit the next entrance of their building. They had to go to the basement, not even a bomb shelter. They stayed in the basement 2 weeks, and like 2 weeks, last week, we were able to get them out from Kharkov to the western city. So we didn't even think this is possible. It was not an agenda. There are things that you don't know, and things you don't know. This is one of the things. Then, I actually overslept the sirens, so I didn't hear them. I woke up an hour after, and by the time we were thinking we have to leave the city, we lived in Kiev. The roads were blocked. All the people wanted to leave. The roads were blocked. There were people who stayed 20, 30 hours in traffic. And this is one thing we also didn't know, how we were able to, we were planning to get out people from the cities. Just, roads are blocked. You cannot go out of the city. And the cities on the west that are packed, we were not able to rent anything. So we had to manage the people who did actually go to, we had to find places by someone we know, and so place them. So all these things were just crazy in terms of, we just didn't, we were very naive and foolish, thinking that we would be able to do anything at all. And it was hard to find drivers. A lot of people didn't have cars. If you want to go by train, if you ever saw those images where, in Kharkov, there are one train that can contain maybe 300-400 people, even standing and sitting, and there was few thousand people standing in line, and so didn't think it's possible. So we tried to coach them in a way that you tell me, even with sort of download offline maps, and we thought we were smart. We gave them minimum. We just did before 2 weeks before that, we did a training of the first aid. It was we had a corporate event. We decided to do that, not connected to war. We did this once a year before COVID. And we knew what kind of medicine do you need, first aid, and we gave it a list. So we thought we were smart, but at the end we were looking back very naive and very hopeless. Especially we have several people who are in occupied cities right now and cannot. There's no chance for them to get out. At some point, one of the teammates, she messaged me we cannot get out, and we have almost no more food left, and very hopeless and very naive, and huge mistake. If I was here, I don't know, 4 weeks ago, I would probably get everyone who wanted to go, get everyone out of the country. And I don't care about the money, about everything, just to not to get to this place.
Can I ask a really basic practical question? What are the tools that you're using to stay in touch, or even what tools are Ukrainians in general using to keep in touch?
So we use Slack, and it works fine for us. The people who are in occupation and they have much worse access to connection, we use Telegram. our HR, she's in touch more with people, and she probably uses Telegram or calling them. Depends on the situation. There's one person who they don't have their access to mobile internet is very poor. The Russians hit one of the stations, so one of the company doesn't work, and what they did smart, they did inside country roaming. So if your provider is not available, you can freely access another provider. But still, like, he almost doesn't have internet. So yeah, for that, calls are better. But Telegram is one of the biggest one. Even though there were a lot of rumors that Telegram, and I don't know if it's true, but Telegram is working with the FSB. Still, like, a lot of people use Telegram.
So basically, we're in a situation where a certain percentage of your employees either made it to areas that are not currently occupied or have made it out of Ukraine entirely, and a certain percentage are still in country. Obviously, I imagine that you are all doing what you can to help people that are in immediate danger. Right. The folks that have made it to relative safety, I'm curious, is keeping Lemon going? Has it been useful for them to still feel like there's some normalcy? There's some, I'm just curious about the morale in terms of the company and continuing to work.
The morale is very down, and I didn't expect anything like going back to normal. So we expected this, and we're okay with that, unless I mean, we're not okay for people being down, but we don't push, we don't put any pressure on them. A lot of people just don't work most of the day, and they are available when they're available, and we're okay with that. First of all, like, even in relatively safe places, they still are subject to sirens. And yes, I'm sorry, not yesterday. On Monday, we had a call, and I just tweeted this today that, it was twice we had a break for a air raid alarm. And the other person who is CMO, he didn't have to connect to the call, but he's in military now. So he connected, and it was kind of nice to see him. But he was driving the car in his arms and everything. But morale is very down, and like, even when we get in Lviv, there was a meetup of our team who are in Lviv, and like, I asked my co-founder, like, how did it go? He said it was fine, but like, people are very down. They're speaking about evacuation or their significant others who may be mobilized, and like, how do they volunteer? And like, people, everything changed. Like, nothing will go back to normal for a long, long time.
I guess I had a couple of questions. You did mention or allude to some of the, I don't know, I suppose the perception or the confusion or the question about Telegram. One of the things that's been kind of hard to, I guess, understand and relate to is the information environment. And so I'm very curious to know how you're making sense of this moment, how you're finding out information, how you're discovering things, what media is reliable for you and trustworthy. What are you, again, telling your staff or the people you work with about how to make sense of what's out there? And
the first week or 2 weeks were kind of messy because you were down on the phone, checking, even like on the road, you're checking all the time what's happening. Now, like last week and a half or 2 weeks, I'm in a very strict information diet, because it's really hard to keep, it's really hard to leave. And like, if you're just reading and you're getting those notifications in Telegram that this happened, it's just impossible. So and also, like, I spoke to people who got out of the country, and just in sense of whatever they are feeling will influence their environment and their teams. And it's very important to stay sane and try to live your life. If you're outside of Ukraine and you can live your life, it's better to do that and show that there's still possible life, and be a more positive person, because you influence the rest of the team. In terms of information, like right now, I decided not to read any analytical articles, because I mean, they don't say anything. Like, whatever their assumptions are, in the end will be 50-50, right? It will happen, it will not happen. So and just if you feed yourself with all this information, you stay inside all the time. It's just impossible to keep sane, and also you aren't productive. Me, I got out. We relocated to Israel, and for me, the main task right now is to be as productive as possible, so the rest of the team can keep getting their salaries, and we have enough revenue because we pay salaries and all the expenses, and the rest, all the profits, we give to the army and volunteers. So it's like the most I can do. Like by reading news, even reposting news will not do any great value to the country, to the people. So I have what I read is just. I don't know how to explain, like technical things that happen, like just to be in touch with reality, like what places are safe, what places are not safe, and what direction it's going, but no analytics.
Yeah, got it.
We still have a lot of families and friends over there, and we keep up what's happening over there. But like I go to those Telegram channels only once or twice a day, just to check, hundreds of messages that came, but it's muted and archived, so I don't see it. Try not to look at it.
How are you doing? What is your state?
I'm fine, to be honest. I mean, kind of guilty to say that, but I feel fine. Of course, it's all uncomfortable, and there's a lot of stress, but if to compare it to the rest of the people who are in real danger and real stress, and I feel kind of sane and fine. Very much. You feel responsibility, and this actually keeps you really sane.
Totally.
There are no other options. Like before that, I got a question. Like once someone asked me, like, as a founder, like, what do you do when you get burned out? Like you just next day you just go to work, and like there's nothing you can do. Like,
it's a completely different type of burnout.
Like if you feel depressed, like what do you do? Like you feel undepressed, you just go into work, and like nothing, not many options.
I mean, to that point, I mean, it must be somewhat clarifying. I mean, to have that purpose and to know that people are counting on you. And, so in that regard, I think it's so important, I suppose, to keep going, to keep it together, on behalf of your team. I guess, the last question I would ask is, when you do think about, and if you do think about, next steps, and like where do you want this to sort of, go for you and your team? Like, how do you see this kind of evolving, maybe, in the next even couple weeks? Like, do you have some steady state or any other next steps for how to keep your team kind of, together or motivated or anything about the future?
Until like this week, I was, I dismissed all our OKRs, or all our goals for this year. And I said, like, our two goals is just keep the salaries and donate the rest to the army. Now I realize that we just need to get back on track on the OKRs. And again, it's not me caring about our growth or revenue, but the wins and the kind of this positive attitude and positive perspective is very important to people well-being. So we again, no pressure to the team, and we decided we'll keep hiring. So we have like 5 or 7 open roles, and we'll keep hiring. We'll keep growing, buying advertisement, and we opened to I think 15 more countries in Europe, and like in the next couple of months we're going to open to Latin countries for engineers in those countries. And this, I saw that this actually changed how people feel, just because they have goals and they just can relate to wins, and it's very important.
Final 2 questions, but very much to that end. The first one being, we've got thousands of listeners in Silicon Valley, in tech companies around the world. Is there a way anyone listening in tech can help Lemon.io specifically?
Lemon.io, I don't want to. I think it's better to help someone else. There are a lot of people who are in need. We, as a company, we're actually doing fine. Again, there is a lag a little, but we're fine. But I think the most important to be able to help people directly After I tweeted about my intention to keep people's salary, and this kind of went viral. And after that, we had a lot of clients who reached out to us and said, like, our developer is unavailable because he is mobilized or in dangerous places, but we want to keep paying them salaries. So this is very, very generous from their sides, because like, this is my team, but usually those developers are temporary developers for a few months. They hire them, sometimes they hire them for 1-2 years, but again, it's temporary work, but they still decided to keep paying their salary. So helping people directly is very important, because like, there are a lot of big organizations like Red Cross and everything, but right now the most people in need are being helped directly. So first of all, there is a direct help to Army. I can, you can post links. I can share it with you. There are a couple of funds that are very, very transversely and are helping our Army since the war started in 2014. And there are some really great projects. First of all, a lot of people, if you saw this, went online to Airbnb and just started booking booking stays in cities where cities don't even exist anymore, and they keep those booked, and the money go directly. And there is a great initiative by one of the VCs over here in Ukraine. They you can donate like 1K to them, and they will send this 1K to a specific family who is in need, who is in this current situation. And there are a lot of initiatives actually, to help, but helping directly, that this money will go directly to something. Now will go to organization that then will spread the money, and but directly to Army, directly to volunteers that will take this money, and not like 30-40% will go to operations. It's very important at this point.
We're going to talk offline, and I'm going to make sure that in the show notes there will be links to whatever charities or whatever that Alexander specifically would recommend people donate to. So anyone listening that wants to help, this will be directly from Alexander. So
if you don't mind, I will add also a great help if you can hire local businesses to do stuff for you. There are a lot of design agencies, development agencies. There are a lot of people who sell something. So this will help them to keep their jobs and their employees' jobs and pay taxes. And this is also like something you can participate.
So try to shop and employ in Ukraine if at all possible is also your suggestion. Yeah. Alexander, I want to thank you so much. I say this from the bottom of my heart. I'm sure from everyone listening as well. God bless you and everyone in your team, and be safe and be well. And thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you for sharing my story. I really, really thankful. I think this will do a lot of good.
Thank you.